Safi, tell me about this programme. What is it intended to do? What sort of success rate does it have? And indeed, does it in any way, is it proven to stop reoffending?
Restorative justice is a process which allows victims to meet or communicate with their offender and really tell them the real impact of the crime. Often it involves a face-to-face conference, like Emma had, but when that's not appropriate, it can also be an exchange of letters, or messages can be recorded, or they can take place via a trained facilitator. And we hear from victims of crime all the time that they're really kind of disempowered by the criminal justice process. They don't have a chance to have their say. Restorative justice really gives them a voice, and it's proven...
But talking about it's proven what, sorry?
It's proven to reduce reoffending by 14%.
14%?
Yeah.
Right, that's interesting. Lauren has been in touch on Twitter today, and she says, Emma is very strong for forgiving him. I wouldn't even bother. She says she's stronger already without what is essentially his approval to move on. Is Lauren right about that? Did you get his approval to move on?
I think you've got to be really careful what you go into restorative justice meeting for. I wasn't going in to show anything else, just to try and show him that I'd moved on. It was for me, it was not for him. I think it can be seen maybe that way, or if you didn't get an apology. If I wasn't going in to get an apology for him. I was lucky I did, I suppose, in that way.
Did he apologise?
He did apologise, and but that wasn't the reason why I was doing it, and that definitely wouldn't have stopped me from moving on. Like I said, we have a child together, so it was more...
Well, yes, and actually, I'm sure that was a big part of this, because you have to, at some point, tell him, I presume, about his father and what happened between you. Have you done that yet? Have you thought about how you do that?
He does ask a lot, and he knows that his daddy was in prison. He knows that it was something that he did to Mummy, and we likened it when he was younger to the naughty step. Yeah. He's been quite angry about that sometimes and blamed me for sending his daddy to prison.
I suppose it's all age appropriate, isn't it, as he gets older? Just one last question. Forgiveness. Have you forgiven him?
I have forgiven him. I've not forgotten.
Before you continue with that, a couple of points. John says forgiveness is not an option. Forgiving is like letting them off. Jan says, I could never forgive. To forgive is to condone the behaviour. Is that right?
Can I just say at this point that restorative justice is not about forgiveness. If it happens, it can be incredibly powerful, but it is not necessary. Victims of crime, victims of sexual harm are angry, and justifiably so. Restorative justice is their chance to have a say, to tell the offender exactly what the impact has been on them. It gives them a voice, and it puts them back in control, like it did with Emma.
That's how you
Ladies, thank you both very much indeed.